Oh, hi. I'm Alan, and this is Mora, a journey in time. Let's take a look and see what we've achieved this week. So far in our dev diaries, we've been looking at the beautiful things. We've been looking at things like the Gaia landscapes we've been generating with the lovely trees and the grass rolling with the wind. We've also been looking at the first temporal vault, building the foundations for our space-like station that we've got going on that's going to form the starting area. But that's not something that we can do every week, because if we just spent all our time building the beautiful things, then gameplay wouldn't exist. So this week I focused on little bits like the UI and gameplay, things that will not necessarily be noticed as much, but they form the foundation of the game and how it's meant to be played. So let's take a look at that and let's see how some of these mechanics are going to work. Well, here we are in the beautiful dev scene. Quite the stark contrast from our gorgeous Gaia terrain and the vault that we were building last week. But it's perfect for development. It just lays the things out, we're not tripping over obstacles, the stuff's where we need it to develop functionality, and that's what we've been doing this week. So we've actually been doing a few bits of UI. You'll notice at the top we've got unknown location at the moment. My plan is to just show where you are at all times. Whether that will sort of scroll down or slide into position when you move location, I'm not sure yet, or whether it should stay there. Maybe you could let me know in the comments what you think on that one. And you'll see as well on the top right we've got a mini map there, which is also quite nice. It's nice to have that in there. That'll play a big part in solving the puzzles. Now again with that, I'm not 100% sure whether that's staying there or whether that's going to be something the user will have to call up. And I'll have to decide based on how the puzzles are really, because we don't want to make it too easy for them, do we? Oh look, we can get in that room. So we'll see how that works out. But there's a few things, other things we've been working on as well. For instance, the inventory system is done. So if I press tab, we see here we've got our inventory system. You can press Q and E to go back and forth between the tabs. Now the next one along is the quest system, which is in development at the moment, so I won't go over to that one, but we'll have a look at that in another dev diary. So the idea is you'll have objectives that you need to achieve in each of the areas, the primary objective and then the secondary objective. But here on the inventory side of things, we've got an area where we'll have an extended description of items that appear in our inventory, and these will be our equipped items as well. So I'll press escape to go out. And we can see over here, we'll pick some items up in a moment and demonstrate that area, but just to demonstrate this, we've got another action button that appears when we go up to something that we can interact with. So we can see one there, we could pick this item up and we see an interaction there, and obviously it'll apply to all these ones on the floor as well. So anywhere something's interactable, the plan is to show this little bit of UI there. So let's press E here. Looks like I need something to open this. So this is my way of communicating with the player. This will be the where all the dialogue comes up, and hopefully it will just provide some tidbits on what we're doing and where the story's going at this point. So we need to find something to open this door. Well, I've played this game before, so I know that if I pick this one up, I wonder if this will open that door. Well, let's take a look. And just so we can see as well, we go to our inventory. We can now see our item here, and if I hover over it, we can see on the right hand side the extended description. This will actually play a part of the story so that we can describe the items and just involve the player a bit more. So let's click this one and we can equip it down here. Now at the moment, equipping something doesn't make it do anything. It will do going forward, but all it does at the moment is, you can see at the bottom there, it puts it in the user's hand. But now if we go up to this door, we can open it. Fantastic. So the system that I've built actually integrates with Game Creator. Now Game Creator is fantastic for sort of drag and drop, let you program a game. But if you need to do something 100 times, I don't want to be dragging and dropping something 100 times to tell it to do the same thing. So being a coder, I've written some code that allows me to have the best of both worlds. So this works on the same functionality as well, but this one won't let us open the door, so I'm pressing E here and the door's not opening. Now again, I've played this game before, so I know that we need 2 key cards to get through that door. So we'll pick up our second key card, we know we've got it,
it's in our inventory. And we can see on the right hand side there we've got an extended description again. This seems to be sturdier than the other key cards I've seen. Perhaps it opens more doors. Well, let's see if that's true. Oh look, it worked. Fantastic. So the system that I've put in place allows us to say a door can open with no items, 1, 2, 3, 4, however many items that you want. And it says which items they should be as well, and they need to be in the player's inventory. But then we've also got an action where we can tie a puzzle to a door. And it also works on the inventory system, so you've got to solve a puzzle as well as have the items in the inventory. So for instance, this door here, we'll press E. We've got a keypad here that we've got to solve in order to get through. So if we were to put the wrong code in, nope, doesn't work. But let's say we've been around our game, we found the individual digits we needed, we found the key code. There we go, we can get through our door. Now this is using a system called Puzzle Creator. So I've integrated this in with my script, which is a little bit tiresome. But it's integrated and it's working, so I can just drag any one of these 75 plus puzzles that come with it onto my script and it'll interact with the door. So if I go up to this one, for instance, we'll see a different type of puzzle. So if I just reset that and then take it back up, there we go, solve the puzzle and the door's open. So really we've got so many possibilities there because we can take that in any direction, any one of the puzzles. So you've got to solve this image to decipher it. You've got to line up the wires, things like that, make it look like you're hacking something, which is quite nice. Now we can pick up multiple items, so we'll go over these, just spam it as we run along. Press tab again and we can see we've got 8 of those in our inventory. So the inventory system is pretty much game ready, and that carrot's got stuck. We've also got ladder climbing implemented now, so anybody that watched Dev Diary 3 will know that we had to do a bit of parkour in order to get up onto one of the ledges, but that's not required now, and we can go up and down the ladders. Not overly happy with the animations on there just yet, but we can tweak that going forward. The point is we can climb them, we can get up and down. So we've got all of the basics in place. We can get through doors, we can pick up items, we can climb ladders. So that really, it does form the foundation of what we're trying to achieve with the gameplay. So let's take a look at some of the implementation now and see how we've actually got that in place. So here we are again, back in Unity. Now for those that don't really know how Game Creator works, it works on a series of triggers. I can demonstrate it here. You have triggers and you tie it to actions, and those actions then do something. So in this case we've got a trigger on the user interface here that when the tab button is pressed, key down tab, then menu open conditions is called, and we go through a whole bunch of conditions. So if this is true, then it does a load of actions, else we can see here, else it will do another load of actions. And I really like this system for just doing small things. Let's say for opening a door, we just want to rotate it on the y-axis in a direction and the door's open. So it saves having to do a little bit of code for that. But then if we want to do that door and then that door and then that door and that door, and it's all doing the same thing every time, there's no point keep having to do different actions for different things on different doors based on the amount of items that you want. So with that in mind, I came up with a script that we can see here, Game Creator Trigger Action. And what we do here is we drag in certain things that we want to happen. So for instance, this at the moment is tied obviously to this door item here, and we've got a few things that we need to specify. So when we get in range of this sphere collider, if I turn gizmos on we'll be able to see. So when we get in range of this sphere collider here, these actions will kick in, it'll take place. And this is where we saw that little E floating above the control panel here. That's what caused that to happen. And what we've got is we've got required item actions, has item actions, on pickup actions, on puzzle complete actions. So these are Game Creator actions that we drag in and get us to do something. So let's go for has item actions on this one. Now we know from when we were playing the game that we press D on this one, and if we had the key card in our inventory, then it would open this door. So has item actions, if we click on that, we can see we get our door, which is there, get our door, and we set the Y value to 115, and in turn it opens. It's as straightforward as that. And this set of actions is actually called, the has item actions is called whenever we've got these. So we've got action items here. So because I've not ticked the is pickup item, this means that in order for these has item actions to be called, we need this item in our inventory. If we don't have those items in our inventory, you remember when we clicked it initially, we got that message? Well, let's go to this. And again, I've got a game creator action there for dialogue, and looks like I need something to open this, and that's what triggers the dialogue. So it's just a really simple way for me to be able to program each of these doors to do something. Now you'll notice here we've got a puzzle and on puzzle complete action. So if we were to go over to our door over here, for instance, which I believe is door 1, yeah, it's this one, you notice this one is actually tied to a digicode puzzle. So we see here I've dragged this puzzle on here, and once that puzzle is solved it will call on puzzle complete actions. So again, if we click that, it's doing the same thing, it's opening a door. Straightforward, which is really nice. Let's see if we go back to this door here on the door control 2. So if we remember when we were looking at this one required 2 items to get through. So we can see on the right hand side it requires keycard and keycard 2 to actually open that door and trigger the has item actions. And then over on this one, this was a different kind of puzzle. So again, we've just got a different type of puzzle assigned. So down here we've dragged that in. On puzzle complete actions, it's done exactly the same thing again. So this script can be used for interacting with all of our doors in the game now. I can just drag this onto whichever controller I want to trigger something to interact with, and then just set up the few things to get it working, like opening a door. Now this script also deals with picking up. So if I was to click on this item, pick up keycard, we can see again that this has the game creator trigger action. And the reason I'm using the same script for this is because I can then have the interface popping up in the same way. So for me it made sense to use the same one for the sake of adding a tick box, is pickup item. So instead of requiring this item, because it's got is pickup item, it will put that item in the inventory. And now that could be a group of items. Let's say that was a toolbox full of items. You could add more elements on here, and you could tell it to be other things. So the player would actually pick up a keycard sword and a keycard 2 on that bit now. So you get multiple items on there at once, which is really nice. So that's kind of an overview on how all of that works. If anybody wants more of an in-depth idea of how the code works behind that, then let me know in the comments, because I don't mind sort of walking through the code on how it's done it. It's not overly complicated. It's just the case of reading what's assigned and deciding what to do after it. But the integration with the puzzle system was interesting because there isn't a native way to integrate. So it's the case of just digging through their code and calling the code that needs to be called, which has worked really well. But I think that's pretty much where we are this week with the dev diary. As you can see, it's nothing beautiful as such, but from my perspective it's a huge leap forward in terms of getting the gameplay going, because now we can start putting this in our main scenes and getting things going with the story and actually playing the game, which is really nice. So thanks for watching this week. We look forward to next week. If you've got any comments, suggestions or ideas for the game or the YouTube channel and the dev diaries, then pop something in the comments below and I'll take a look, and I'll definitely respond as well. So don't forget to like the video if you can, and subscribe to find out more. Okay, cheers, see you in the next one.